Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I am Bill DeWees, and tonight this is all about how to start and build a six-figure voiceover business. And I just have to, on a personal note, if you're a Bears or Packers fan, props to you for being here tonight because that's the NFL's oldest rivalry. And if you're a Bears fan like me or a Packers fan, the fact that you're here, it's a big deal. So we'll pick it up at the half. So it's all good. I just want to say up front that I believe wholeheartedly that voiceover is the best home-based business opportunity. And I don't say that just as a matter of speculation or as a matter of theory. It's after working personally with hundreds of voiceover talent and communicating with thousands over the past 6 years. As a few examples, this is Anthony, who sent me this message to let me know that he's now making just over six figures a year recording voiceovers from home. And in this email, the person asked not to be identified, but who has been steadily growing their voiceover business and has exceeded the $20,000 a month. That's $20,000 a month working and recording voiceovers from home. And then Keith, who this message comes almost exactly a year ago, where he let me know that he's been building his voiceover business as on the side as a part-time endeavor. His goal is to make $24,000 a year. Last year, he hit $40,000, and I just found out recently that he will be hitting somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 this year, again as a part-time, at-home voiceover talent. And then this very nice handwritten note, which came from Todd, to let me know that he has hit six figures in his voiceover career. Again, just a few examples. And if I were you sitting there, I'd want to know, okay, now who is this guy, and what right does he have to tell me how to build a six-figure voiceover business? I want to share a few things to let you know that this is what I do. I don't just tell people how to do it. I do it. I literally wrote the book on how to start and build a six-figure voiceover business. And I've recorded over 10,000 voiceover projects over the past 12 years. And here's a short list of some of my clients, including Apple and Coca-Cola and Walmart and Walt Disney and Warner Brothers and Fox and the PGA Tour, the Billy Graham Association and QVC, Best Buy, Hitachi, SAP, Morgan Stanley, and it goes on and on. And it's not just, I share these with you because I know these are brands that you recognize, but also I record a lot of projects for small to medium-sized companies and businesses, not just here in the US, not just in North America, but literally all over the world. I've also, and there's a reason I'm sharing this with you, I'm also, as of just few months ago, the voice of Lego City Policeman, the toy. I've recorded voiceovers for video games like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Skyforce, which is a big multiplayer online game. I also recently recorded a character voice for the commercial trailer for Clash of Clans. I'm consistently one of the most listened to talents on voices.com, and tens of thousands of people of talent from around the world are listed on the website. So I'm somebody who's very actively involved in the voiceover business. And my talent, I mean, the talent that I work with and coach, my students, also see success and get hired. In addition to that, I sit in what you're seeing is a screenshot of live video stream. I have a group coaching program in which I stream live from my studio every day, so they actually get to watch me work. They see me record and audition and deal with clients and all that goes with building a voiceover business. They get to see. So my point being that this is something I don't just talk about it. I don't just teach it. I actually do it. This is my full-time career. And so tonight I want to share with you the 3 steps to build a six-figure home-based voiceover business. And here's the good news for which we can all celebrate. No previous experience required. Does that fit you? How many of you have no voiceover experience or nothing that you would really consider technically to be voiceover? Just say yes. And there's quite a few, no experience. So the good news is this is just as much for you as it is for anybody. And so what you're going to learn tonight is this. The 3 crucial elements. Here they are. Step 1, how to use free online resources to get clients contacting you in less than a week. We'll also, in step 2, talk about how to create and record pro home audio affordably. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to book your first job in the next week and get paid. Now, anybody, could you get excited about getting paid in the next week recording voiceovers? Well, it's completely possible and feasible, and tonight I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So, who is this webinar for? Well, it's for you if, and you can just kind of give me a yes in the chat box if this fits you. You want to work from home. That sounds appealing to you. Say yes. If you want to make six figures or more per year, yeah, of course you do. Are you fed up with your current situation and options? If that's you, just put yes. And yeah, a lot, if we're not going through it now, we all have at some point in our lives. So if you fall in any of these categories, then this program tonight, this webinar is absolutely for you. Now, today's voiceover business isn't yesterday's voice over business. And this is just a pictorial representation of what yesterday's voiceover business kind of looked like and sounded like. And, kind of the stereotypical, the big, deep voice, and usually white men with big, deep voices. That was that was voiceover. Well, today's voiceover business, that is not required. And more times than not, it's not even desired because clients are looking for real people. Are you a real person? Of course you are. And clients are looking for people who can relate to other real people. And here's just a representation. This week I went through some recent jobs and castings I've received, and I just wanted to show you exactly what I mean. Look at these. Direction for sample read. Please use your natural voice. Male and female 20 to 40. Sincere, simple, straightforward. No announcers. Definitely no announcers. Needs to be a voice, a viewer, or grower. This was targeted to farmers that they can relate to and trust. Real, like an employee really said this stuff. I love that one. Not a salesperson and not an over-the-top announcer type. Upbeat, happy, like no announcers. Real guy. White male, two African-American males, and an Asian female. Hip, energetic, personal. And again, these are just samples, but this is the norm. People, clients specifically, are looking for folks like us who are real people, who can relate to and who can communicate with other real people. And it's not, as I mentioned, it's not just a man's game. This is for all nationalities, ages, ethnicities. Everyone is welcome. And here's another really cool thing about today's voiceover business. No expensive studio setup is required. This comes from the Kankakee Daily Journal. This is a little local paper that actually, this is what launched my teaching or my coaching, voiceover coaching career back in May 9th, 2009. Closet Studio helps Bourbonnais DeWees work in TV radio. They actually came in, did a story on me, put it in the Sunday Human Interest section of the paper, took a picture, and I cannot locate that picture. So what I did, I just put in a stock photo. But imagine that in that story, that picture that you see looks almost exactly like the picture that was in the newspaper, except my ugly mug was behind the microphone. That was the only difference. It was me sitting in a closet surrounded by clothes. And so I literally had no more than $300 in total into my studio when I first got started. And that was 12 years ago, and equipment's actually gotten cheaper since then. So let's talk about and define exactly what it is we're talking about when I say voiceover work. Those commercials you hear on radio and television where there's the man or woman's voice who talks about the product or the service? That is a voiceover. When you're watching like Fox or ABC or CBS or any other television network and a voice pops in between programs. Tonight at 9 o'clock, don't miss. That is a voiceover. And those commercials you see for movies, and right before the movie starts, when the big voice comes in, and sometimes it's not even a big voice. That's changing. You're hearing more women and more regular voices who promote upcoming movies. And also, every cartoon that you've ever watched or heard, there was a voice. There was a person behind a microphone recording and being paid to do that. And the good news is those things, they're the most obvious things, but they are literally just the tip of the iceberg of what we call voiceover. The biggest segment, or I should say, it's one of the biggest segments, but it certainly is the fastest growing segment, is the audiobook market. Do you own a Kindle or e-reader of any sort, a Nook, something like that? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but the value of that is dropping quickly because ebook sales are dropping quickly. because now the thing is audiobooks. Audiobooks account for the greatest growth in the publishing market. Sales are up 31% since 2015. It is a $3.5 billion market. Do you listen to audiobooks? Yeah, more and more people are listening to them. As a matter of fact, 36,000 audiobooks are recorded a year. And if Amazon has anything to do with it, and they do, by the way, they have their hand deep into this industry, their goal is to get just about every book that's ever been published converted into an audiobook. So there is a big market and a growing demand for audiobook narrators who do that from home, oftentimes from their bedroom closet. Now, in addition to that, you've got, and I'm talking about now other types of voiceover work, online videos for products and services. We've all seen those. You ever play a video game? Digital toys, maybe for your kids? When you call the local business and nobody's there to answer, and you get the message that promotes the business and talks about their hours. Oftentimes that's a paid person like you or me that did that. Apps. We all know a lot of time apps come with voices that people have been paid to record. Theater pre-movie commercials. When you go into the theater before the trailers start, those commercials that play, somebody was hired to record the voiceover for those. And again, that even there is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not exhaustive by any means. It is a huge and quickly growing market. As a matter of fact, let's just look at YouTube for just a moment. There are 240 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every second. Many require voiceovers. As a matter of fact, more voiceovers have been recorded on YouTube videos than in the totality of voiceover in the history prior to YouTube. YouTube has been a big factor in driving the growth of voiceover, and there's no end in sight, and there's no slowdown in sight as it relates to the demand for voiceover. And just as another quick example, the video game market. Anybody like to play video games? Yeah, I like them too. It's not just a kids thing anymore. I mean, we almost, a lot of us, if not most of us, play them. It's a $99.6 billion market, and it's forecast to exceed $118 billion by 2019. The video game market, get this, is larger than the movie and music industries combined. More than 2 billion gamers worldwide. Think of all the characters that are involved in video games. Going back to earlier when I talked about some of the video games and things that I've done, do you think I was hired because of my great voice? No, it's because there's huge demand that people who are not known, at the upper echelons of the industry, people like you and me are being hired to do these things from home. So let's get into the 3 steps that you need to know. Step number 1. How to use free online sources to get clients contacting you in less than a week. Would you love to hear from somebody within the next several days that said, you know what, I think you might be good for this project? Well, let me tell you from experience, it is one of the greatest thrills that you'll ever get. I've been doing this for 12 years now, and I tend to compulsively check my email because there's nothing that gets my heart racing more than when somebody reaches out to me, and it happens frequently and has since I started my career. Somebody says, you know what, I found you. I really like what you sound like and how you communicate and your voice, and I think you might be good for this project. So let's talk about how to make that happen for you. Well, first of all, we're going to skip the talent agencies because they are not necessary. There still are talent agencies, but they do not account for the bulk of what's going on out there. So we can skip all that mess. Also, no need to go to the East Coast or the West Coast. New York and Hollywood, maybe at one point in time, you really needed to be there to make it happen. Today, you do not. We're going to skip that. And what we're going to do is we are going to use technology. Anybody own a computer? Anybody have internet access? All right, you're halfway there. All right, you've got a really good start because through technology, there are things that we can do today. I mean, I literally sit in my studio and probably close to 25% of my work actually comes outside of North America. China, the Middle East, a lot from Europe, Australia, so on and so forth. Now get this stat, and this again speaks to the demand and the opportunities for those of us who are doing this from home. 75%. The biggest part of the pie out there of ad agencies are using an online marketplace to find, hire, and pay voiceover talent. Only 19% today use talent agencies. They are going online to look for folks like us. Because we, my friends, are part of the freelance revolution that's going on right now. And here is my first really big tip for you for the night, talking about free online resources. One of the best, easiest ways to get started as of today and start making money in voiceover is through a website called Fiverr, Fiverr. Now, if you were starting a new career, would they start you off in the penthouse suite, corner office, at the highest salary scale? No. No, let's be honest. It takes a little while to get to the very super high echelons of whatever career you're looking at. So the idea is that we want to start working and generating cash flow and profit immediately with potential to grow. Does that make sense? Does that sound realistic to you? Well, that's what Fiverr is all about. And, it used to be Fiverr was all about the $5 jobs, but that's just not the way it is anymore. As a matter of fact, here's one of my students, Dane, who posted and was showing how he was able to take a $15 gig and turn it into a $120 gig. There are strategies that you can use. I think they're called add-ons, extras. Like, for instance, you send a higher quality audio file, or you turn the project around in a super fast time frame, or you add music to it, and you can take those jobs and add tremendous amount of value to increase your profitability. And, doing a job for $120, a voiceover job, I get excited about that kind of thing. And I'm sure you do as well. Now, here's Gary, who went through some Fiverr training that I offered and said, honestly, I'm sort of astonished at how successful it's been for him. And he talks about how he has continually exceeded his goals as he's worked on Fiverr. And here's Donnie, who was showing his first 4 months, starting off $36 the first month. He wasn't ready to retire after 1 month of doing it. Nor would you be in any kind of job. It just would be unreasonable to think that. And his second month, $190. His third month, $790. August, $2,500. And he, has grown from there. So as you can see, these are real people who, from home, have been able to successfully establish themselves on this website, Fiverr. Troy, if I can do it, anyone can. He's earned a total of over $23,000 on Fiverr recording voiceovers, and in August alone, just over $4,500. And one more quick example here, Dane showing a chart where it looks like his first month, it was maybe a little less than $100. And then you can see it steadily grew from there to where it's up over $1,400 in August. So with Fiverr, I would encourage you. As a matter of fact, how many of you are going to get set up tonight? How many of you are going to go in tonight and set up your profile? Do that, because a couple of good reasons. Number one, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything to do it. That's really key, especially when you're starting a business. It's all about cash flow, and you don't want to go in debt. So it's free. The other thing is Fiverr invests heavily in advertising to drive clients your way. So they're constantly working to bring people to you on Fiverr so that they can see you, hear you, and hire you. And when you are working this kind of a system, and this is really important to me, is that I want to make sure that it's not feast or famine. And there are a lot of voiceover talent out there, especially those who really work in the older school model, who get a big job here and then literally can go for years before their next job comes up. What I want for myself and for you, and why I teach this, is that every day. Now, certainly, the first month, don't expect to get work every day. It takes a few months to get some momentum going. But you want to get work coming in every day so that what you can do is avoid those incomes ups and downs, and to get a consistent stream of income going. Okay. Ever heard of Craigslist? Yeah? Okay. How many of you have actually used Craigslist in some sort, or know somebody who has? We've all either used it or we know somebody who has. But did you realize that Craigslist could be one of your best source of leads for voiceover? And a lot of people, when I say that, they just look at me and kind of shake their head and say, what? Craigslist? Yeah, if you know what you're doing. And a couple of hints for you, little tips. One is you have to make sure that you consistently, with Craigslist, it's like mining for gold. And you really need to commit every day to searching and mining for those leads. And I suggest multiple times a day if you can. And also, the early bird gets the worm is true, and speed does matter. With online postings, a lot of times people are looking for somebody and they're looking for them now. They're not even looking for the most talented person. And sometimes they're not even all that terribly picky, but they need somebody who can do it. And so by being early to the party means that your chances of getting hired increase. And here, a few of my students who have gone through training who talk about and will testify to the fact that Craigslist is a legit place to get work. And here's Lewis, who said he just got his first narration gig through Craigslist, and he gives a really nice thank you there. David said he just started using my Craigslist strategy and got a response on the first day, and it turned into his very first client just a few days later. And then Keith, who said that the program, my voiceover training program, was paid for simply through one Craigslist job. And do you like irony? I love irony, and this is extremely ironic, and I get a lot of pleasure out of this. One of my most exciting Craigslist jobs that I was hired for was for every year there's a big SAG-AFTRA award deal. It's on television every year, and it's done, I think, usually in the Kodak Theater in Hollywood, the SAG-AFTRA awards. And I was hired to voice over it was not broadcast. It was just for all the actors that were there. And it was me along with, I think, Matt Damon and Harrison Ford and Julia Roberts and a whole bunch of other A-list celebrities were interwoven within this piece that I narrated. And it played to everybody there at the program. Well, that was gratifying in and of itself. But the irony of it was this, is that I am a non-union actor who is paid to do work that was featured at perhaps the biggest union event of the year. I just get a lot of pleasure out of that. All right. Now, how many of you enjoy picking up the telephone and calling people to find work? Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you, I'm an introvert by nature, and so my nature is not to want to pick up a telephone and start making quote unquote sales calls. As a matter of fact, I will avoid that at all costs. However, I have found that by using a non-sales approach on the telephone and just communicating with people as other human beings and making that connection so that I can essentially introduce myself, it works as a very effective tool in finding new clients in voiceover. And it's something that, even though it might make you a little uncomfortable, for some people, there's a small portion of the population that enjoys this kind of thing. Most of us don't necessarily enjoy it, but what you'll find out, and I would encourage you to do this, would be to pick up the phone and call a couple of media production companies, video production companies specifically. Just do a Google search to find them. It's not difficult. Introduce yourself and simply ask them if they are currently accepting voiceover demos. Rick Shockley of Florida dropped me a nice email, let me know that my cold calling technique has been his most effective tool in gaining clients. So it is not outdated. It's very relevant, and it's very powerful. And don't underestimate the power of the telephone. And I would encourage you, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable, give it a shot. And I think you might be shocked at what happens. All right, that's step one. Let's look at step two. How to create and record professional home audio affordably. All right, this is this right here, this is your home studio. Now let me explain. First of all, how many of you own a computer? You own a computer? Probably so. You're here on this webinar. My guess is you're probably watching it on your computer. Do you have internet access? Again, probably wouldn't be here if you didn't. Do you own a pair of either headphones or maybe earbuds, even your iPhone earbuds? Okay. Well, really all you need, the primary piece of equipment you need, is a microphone and then some recording software. And it doesn't have to be a new computer, by the way, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. I want to make a recommendation here for you, because a lot of people, this becomes a big thing for people. They really get stuck on or obsess on the whole microphone thing. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of experience with this. And This microphone is one that I recommend with no reservation or hesitation. It is the Apogee mic. As you can see here, this is just a screenshot from Amazon. And if you get the standard microphone that works on Mac or Windows, it's $199. If you want to go all out and get fancy and get cords that will adapt to your iPhone or iPad, it'll cost you $30 more to do that. But I know guys who literally carry one of these around in their glove compartment, and then they can pull over, if a client, there's actually a big promo guy out in Los Angeles. When the network needs him, he pulls over, pulls his Apogee mic out of his glove compartment and records promos right there and sends them to the network through his telephone. So I'm telling you, if this is good enough for some of the top working voice talent in America, it's good enough for you and me. And I'm speaking to you through the Apogee mic right now, here in my studio. That's what you're hearing me through, this particular microphone. It's going to cost you about $200, but a lot of people, they think that having the most expensive mic, and this microphone, I own this microphone as well. It's a Neumann TLM 103. It's a great mic. Costs $1,000, but I'm telling you, 49 out of 50, maybe even 99 out of 100 people, if you played audio from both microphones, they would not be able to tell the difference. And the one or two who could would probably be a studio engineer. And they would probably admit that the sound difference is negligible. So again, you're starting a business, you want to operate as much in the black as you possibly can, stay out of the red. This is a really good option for you. Now, if you have a hard time finding a quiet spot in your home, or finding a place that has a lot of absorbent material like a closet to absorb all those extra sound waves, this is another tip for you. There's a neat little thing. It's not a Nerf ball, but it looks like one, and it's called the Chaotica Eyeball. And it's literally a engineered piece of acoustic foam that fits around your microphone that creates, in essence, a mini studio around your microphone. And not only is it great for home, but you can use it when you're traveling as well. So it makes for a great portable studio. So with a Chaotic Eyeball and an Apogee mic and a computer, you're in pretty good shape, except for you need some recording software. And I'm very excited to tell you that there's a great program called Audacity. It's free. You don't even have to pay for that. And there's the URL, audacityteam.org/download. And you can get it for your Windows machine or for your Mac or even Linux if you're a Linux person. So there's no need to even spend money on that. And don't you think, would you agree that having a home-based business that requires very little investment but has such great upside is better than one that you have to spend a lot of money in up front? Or you think about buying a franchise where you spend hundreds of thousands or $1 million. When you get into voiceover, it's almost laughable. The low buy-in for such high upside. So now let's talk about the performance side of the equation and how to do that. Anybody recognize this picture? Look familiar at all? You may not recognize him by his face, but you certainly would by his voice. His name is Don Pardo, and he, for many, many, many years, was the voice of Saturday Night Live, and he passed away several years ago. But this, at one point in time, this would be the stereotypical voiceover, the white male with a big, deep, resonant voice. But clients today are moving away from that quickly. Most clients today are looking for real, genuine people. And the key word is this, and you will see this over and over when you're recording voiceovers and people are sending you scripts. Authenticity, genuine, real. They want you to tell it. They don't want you to sell it. And again, in case you don't believe me, this comes from actual clients saying no announcers, real, genuine, friendly, approachable, so on and so forth. So let's make it even simpler. Speaking from your heart and not your head. So let me ask you a question. Let's say if you went to a movie and you just love this movie and you're hanging out with your best friend and you just got to tell your best friend about this movie because you want them to check it out too. Would you be extremely concerned with what you sounded like as you said it? Would you be concerned about your elocution, your articulation, your pacing, your speed, your emphasis? No. It would be about the fact that you were excited. This was an awesome movie and you want them to see it too. Because if you spoke to them in that formal, rigid way, even though you spoke beautifully, and you articulated flawlessly, and you had those smooth, dulcet tones, it would fall flat because it came from your head and not your heart. And that's why clients are looking for real and genuine. Let me give you an example. This is an actual script for a hospital, Wheeling Hospital. What I want to do, first of all, is I want to read it for you the way that the traditional announcer would read it, and that a lot of people today that don't know any better would approach it with a focus on the voice and how good they sound. And so they might approach it like this: time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we've built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital. And, a lot of people might say, wow, okay, that sounds good. The articulation was really good. The pacing was good. You sounded very authoritative, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, that's not what's going to get me that job. What's going to get me the job is feeling the commercial, understanding the urgency of what's being spoken of. And so if I were to audition or to record this as a job, this is how I would approach it. Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we've built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital. And so what I want to do now is actually, I want to coach one of you guys through this. If you like to do that, I think it'd be kind of fun for the person who does it, and for those who listen, I think it'd be very instructive and informative. And so I've got Fred's on the line with me, a good friend and partner who helps me out with these webinars. And Fred, are you able to find somebody? Just say yes. You want to do this?
Okay, so I think I got Craig. I think it's Craig spelled C-R-E-G. Craig, let me grab you real quick, and I'm going to unmute you here in a second. Craig, 1 second. You are, I think I found you. Okay, Craig, your mic is now unmuted. Go ahead.
Hey there, Craig.
You hear me?
How you doing?
Doing great. How are you today?
Good, good. Where do you live?
I live in Dallas, Georgia.
All right. Well, it's good to have you on tonight. Now, and do you have any background of voiceover, or are you coming at this totally kind of out of the blue?
Out of the blue.
All right. Excellent. But it's something you think you might want to do.
Definitely. I've actually done one paid job before, but I really want to grow it into a business.
That's awesome. Awesome. You're in the right place. All right, Craig, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, without any direction from me, I want you to read through it once. Whatever feels right to you. Just go for it, and let's just see what happens. We'll establish a baseline, and then I'll coach you through it, okay?
Sounds good. Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we've built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
Okay, Craig, thanks. Good job. Now, as you can tell, Craig you have a very deep, resonant voice. And let me just take a wild guess. People all your life have said, hey, you should be in radio, TV, or record voiceovers.
Yes, they have.
I'm a mind reader. I didn't mention that in the introduction, but because you do have a beautiful voice. But now here's the problem, Craig. A lot of people have beautiful voices. A lot of people do. And what I learned early on is you can't compete on that, or at least not on that alone. So what I want to do, I want to take you to another level that will make people lean in to hear what you have to say when they hear you, because you sound different and better than everybody else, okay? And here's what's going to do that is, remember the illustration I gave of if you saw a movie, you wanted to share it with a friend, you would tell it from your heart and not your head. And right now you're speaking from your head and from your voice. Let's look at the script for a second. What is it they're really trying to communicate here? What's the emotion that's being conveyed? If you had to pick a word or two words of emotion, what do you see here? What do you feel?
Building trust.
Definitely. You gotta have trust. There has to be trust. The other thing, there's a sense of urgency here, because time is what you need, right? It's like you don't have to, when you're in a serious situation, you don't have time is the commodity you cannot afford to waste. And so you need to help us feel the seriousness. There's a bit of drama here. It's serious, but it's important and it's urgent. So, as a matter of fact, let me take it a step further, and I'm going to circle a couple of things for you, because this script is outlined in the traditional problem solution. A lot of commercials are, here's the problem, here's the solution. In this case, it's problem, solution, problem, solution. The two orange lines, these are the problem lines. Time is what you need. And because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. So what I want you to do, I want you to be sincere. When I say sincere, I mean, I want you to let me know that this is important. It's what you need. Don't speak from your voice. Speak from your heart. All right? Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, so try that once.
Time is what you need in an emergency.
And I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Craig. Okay, I'm going to give you a piece of physical direction to help you, okay? Because you're projecting really strong, which means it's going to turn into a performance instead of communication. What I want you to do is I want you to cut your volume in half. Instead of speaking from your diaphragm, I want you to speak from your throat. Because when we're talking up close and personal to people that are important to us, we don't speak from the diaphragm. We speak from the throat. Because do you know? I mean, do you find that to be true with you as well? That if you're talking to a close friend, you're talking like this from your throat, not from your diaphragm. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Like how I'm talking right now.
And it's going to feel weird. Okay, your mind's going to say you're wrong, Craig. Don't do this because it doesn't sound good. But the thing is, nobody cares what it sounds like. All they care is, do I believe you? Do you make me feel something? So I want it to be barely above a whisper, and all from your throat, not your diaphragm.
Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we've built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
And Craig, what's the difference? Time.
The difference
is time. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw you a curveball, but that's the heart of this commercial. I want you to simply just repeat after me. The difference is time.
The difference is time.
Softer, but more urgent. The difference is time.
The difference is time.
Now read it.
Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we've built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
Craig, I have a big smile on my face right now. Well done, sir. That was really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
I hear Craig, that sigh of relief is like, oh, thank God I'm done.
Time for another one, or should we move on?
We could do another one. Yeah, sure.
So let's see here. I'm going to get, let's see, Eric. I think you jumped in there next. Eric Dupree is here. Let me find you, Eric. 1 second. Get ready. As soon as I find you, you are now unmuted. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey there, Eric.
Hi.
Are you ready to become a voiceover talent?
Sure.
Well, I'm not fully convinced, but let me tell you, it's not as hard as you may think it is. But I feel you. It's okay. So you heard Craig go through this, and first of all, kudos, props to you for. I know it's not easy to do this, but again, this is a safe environment, and it's all about learning. It's all about learning. So just read through it for me once, if you would, just whatever makes sense to you, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
Eric, you were listening very well and taking good notes when I was working with Craig, because I can hear you incorporating a lot of that already. So first of all, yeah, very nicely done. But let's see what we can do with this. As I mentioned before, what really the key to getting the job is to make the audience, they have to feel something. Your listener has to feel something. Wow, talk about good timing.
Yeah.
Time is what you need in an emergency.
Yeah.
It's almost like we could have done it better. Are you at a hospital right now or something?
I'm in a hospital zone in downtown, the big city. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
So one of the things I like to do that helped me with the commercial is I try to think of a situation I've been in where I felt the feeling that the commercial is trying to evoke. So
right.
have you ever been in a situation where you've had a loved one like in a really dire medical situation, like in a hospital?
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what
Mhm.
what that feels like. And do you
I
remember?
do.
Do you remember? Was it? I mean, were you afraid? Were you just? You don't have to give details, but what emotionally? What was that like for you?
Uh, Very reluctant to make the phone calls to update the people involved.
Okay, so you were kind of
Yeah.
put in that position to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, what I want you to do, I just want you to think about what it was like to be there, what that felt like, and I simply want you to read it again.
Okay. Is the volume okay? And
No, you're great.
so
Yeah.
far? Okay. I haven't used this computer before
Oh
actually.
no, I can hear you loud and
Before
clear.
that. Okay.
So,
Great.
and again, I don't want to lose the mojo here, but just
Mhm.
imagine, you were talking about it was your
Yes.
job you had to call people, I guess family
Hmm.
members, to give them
Yeah.
updates. So I want you to remember how hard that was, and what that feeling of stress and emotional, the hurt and the pain and the stress, what that felt like, because
Mhm.
that's going to come through in the script. So now read it again.
Okay. Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
Good, Eric. And now one more time, just simply make it more reassuring. Let me know it's going to be okay.
Okay. Time is what you need in an emergency. Time saved with highly skilled doctors and nurses. Over time, we built our hospital to accommodate your needs. Because when life hangs in the balance, the difference is time. The new emergency trauma center at Wheeling Hospital.
Well done, Eric. And let me tell you, I'm going to listen and pay attention to you before I am somebody with a big voice, big resonant, or, even, not just a man, but even a woman with a big announcer voice, because I don't care how slick you are. What I
Right.
care about is, can I trust you? And you generated trust. So very good. These are
Yeah.
great.
Thanks very much. I really.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, Fred, for your help on that. Those are two great examples. Again, it's about what you make people feel, not how impressed they are at the sound of your voice. So the secret sauce to voiceover when it comes to performance, it is emotion. Remember this, nobody hires you until they feel something. And the only way they feel it is if you feel it first. That's it. If you feel it when you read it, they'll feel it when they listen, and your chance of getting hired goes up dramatically. And so the key then is to use that knowledge, that core. That's really the core thing of any voiceover, whether it's promos or radio, television, documentaries, corporate, whatever. Even though there's some uh, different performance strategies that come into play, that understanding the emotion, that is core to all of this, and will do more to get you success in getting hired than anything else when it comes to your performance. So what and understand, you're not going to do that perfectly out of the gate, by the way. It does take time and practice. But could you hear the dramatic difference between Craig and Eric's first and last reads? So do you think with some coaching that it can improve your ability? I'll talk to you more about that in just a moment. So when you really boil it down, all you really need is a computer with an internet connection. I think we've established that most of us have that already. You'll need a microphone, and some of you may already have a good microphone. But if not, the Apogee mic is one that I highly recommend. And as you know, it's a $200 microphone. Recording software, Audacity, it's free. Skype, because that's more times than not, that's what we use to communicate with clients with when it comes to like them directing sessions. Sometimes, not most of the time, sometimes they want to listen in and give you their feedback. Headphones, and it doesn't have to be expensive studio headphones. I've done plenty of recording just wearing my iPhone earbuds. And you need a relatively quiet space. And as you heard or saw earlier, that the chaotic eyeball can go a long way to help you with that if that's a problem. So let's go into step 3. Let's talk about how to book your first job in the next week and get paid. Okay, now be honest. Have you ever thought that the equation for voiceover success and making money in voiceover was having a great voice? I mean, I used to think that. I think most people do think that. But now we know that the formula for success is not even great voice, but it's the ability to communicate and express emotion effectively. But it's not just that. You do need to have some very basic business skills. And once you understand that, and by the way, you don't have to be a business genius or an MBA. These are very basic, learnable things. But if you have those two components, that is what's going to equal money and success for you in voiceover. So you've got to have the right marketing tools. So let's talk about that. I like to use the analogy of fishing. When it comes to voiceover, it's like fishing. You've got to go be in the right spot. You got to find the right fishing hole, number one. And number two, you have to have the right bait. So let's talk about the right bait. Your demo. People want to hear samples of what you're capable of. And you may have heard people talk about professional voiceover demos. And there will come a time in your career where that will be appropriate, and you'll want to make that investment to do that. But when you're first getting started, you do not need to invest money in a professional demo. As a matter of fact, I would highly recommend that you generate, as you're looking to do that, make money through recording your voiceovers that you can reinvest in that down the road. Don't go out and buy a $1,000 microphone and a $5,000 recording booth and a $3,000 demo, because you don't have to do that up front. I mean, if you got more money than you know what to do with and you just want to do those kind of things, I mean, there's no law against it, but I just don't think it's the smartest business way to do this, and it's not extremely practical for a lot of people. So let's talk about your DIY demo. Here's the formula for that. You want to transcribe and record 4 commercials. By transcribe, I mean you want to find some commercials out there, and I'm going to tell you exactly where they are in just a second. And you want to just transcribe, write down word for word what you hear in the commercials. And then you want to take about 15 to 20 seconds of each of those 4 commercials and record them. Now, I recommend the easiest way to find these commercials are on YouTube or iSpot.tv, because you will find just about every commercial that's ever been recorded on YouTube. And with iSpot TV, I think they focus more on more recent commercials, but they're really easy to find. And you should have 4 different script styles. For instance, you might want to have one that's upbeat, energetic, one that's friendly, that urgent, like that hospital commercial, urgent, or something that's more caring and empathetic, or maybe something that's a little more powerful and authoritative. So I've got some examples here for you. This week I went online and I took some screenshots to show you exactly what I mean. So here, these are from iSpot TV. I grabbed an ACE commercial and I transcribed it. And here it is. It's about 15 to 20 seconds in length. And I determined that this commercial was friendly. It's more of a friendly approach. So this is a friendly sample. I'm going to read it for you. This is how I would do it. I would simply hit my record button. ACE has grown to 5,000 stores. That's twice as many locations as the warehouse stores. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is a part of your community. Yep, 5,000. That's a lot. By the way, I've recorded for ACE before, so maybe that wasn't fair. That felt very comfortable to me. But the point being, find something that feels comfortable to you. And so that's a friendly read. So what else do I need? Well, okay, here's a Cece's Pizza commercial. I transcribed it. It's much more excited. At Cece's, get the sauced and tossed flavor of your favorite wings, now in your pizza. Buffalo chicken, new garlic parmesan, and new honey barbecue. Wings by the slice, now at the buffet. Just $5 and change, Cece's. So there's just a quick, excited read. Amazon. Here's an Amazon commercial I got from myspot.tv. Regular guy. Do you do your holiday shopping online? Do you stream movies or TV shows? Then you should know about Amazon Prime and that you can try it free for 30 days. Go to amazon.com/free trial now for your 30-day trial and start enjoying the benefits of Prime today. Okay, and then let's do one more. Here's a Morgan Stanley commercial that I got off iSpot TV, and I transcribed it. Okay, so I would approach this more in a consultative, credible advisory, like I'm advising somebody. there's a pursuit we all share, a better life for your family, a better opportunity for your business, a better legacy to leave the world. We have always believed in this pursuit. We are Morgan Stanley, and we are ready to work for you. So can you see yourself doing that? Simply go to iSpot.tv, YouTube, transcribe, and there you go. And you edit those, clean it up, and you've got an audio file. Now you can go onto Fiverr.com with your free account that you open up tonight, right? And you can upload that sample, and you've got something. Now you're fishing. You're in the right fishing hole, and you've got the right bait, and you're ready to get clients. So, I mentioned, Fiverr is a great place to do that. Here's another place for you. As a matter of fact, in terms of speed, getting work the fastest, this is probably the fastest way to get a job. And this is for audiobook work. And this is something I know a little bit about. I've recorded 41 audiobooks myself. As I mentioned earlier, it's an exploding market, and there's a ton of opportunities. And this website is going to be the fastest, easiest, simplest, freest way to do that, because it costs nothing to be on here. It's owned by Amazon, so if you have an Amazon account, you can simply use your Amazon login to get in. I mean, it doesn't get simpler than that, right? So earlier today, I logged in just to give you an example of the possibilities here. They have over 1,500 titles right now looking for narrators. Over 1,500, let me repeat that, over 1,500 books that need narrators right now. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm even kind of playing around with the idea, this is something I'm setting up my account tonight. Yeah, you ready to do that? This is a great place to do it, and one of the fastest places, as I mentioned, to get work. And here's Mike, who just emailed me a couple days ago to let me. Yeah, this is funny because, oftentimes our biggest fear is that the thing we want to happen is not going to happen. But then it happens, and then we're terrified because it did happen. And you can see Mike says, I'm a little freaked out because I've never done this before. But he says, I've been offered to record 2 audiobooks through ACX, and I'm freaked out because I've never done it before. So, his first tryout, and he's already gotten 2 offers to do this. So you can do this. So during this time, you've learned the 3 crucial elements for voiceover success. Number 1, we've talked about using free online resources to get clients contacting you within 5 days. I've shown you that Fiverr.com is free. It's one of the fastest and easiest ways to get set up, to get in front of people, to get hired. I've shown you that Craigslist is another very powerful way to be able to get work, as well as ACX, because the audiobook market is huge and growing quickly. I've shown you how to create and record pro home audio affordably and to make a DIY demo. You know now that most of what you need, you probably already have. You probably need to download Audacity, so you have the recording software, but that's free. And you may need a microphone. And the Audacity, not the Audacity, but the Apogee mic is probably, your best option in that way. And also, I've shown you that to record a pro home, a good sounding DIY demo is simply a matter of going to YouTube or iSpot TV, finding 4 commercials that are different stylistically, and recording 15 to 20 seconds of each one, putting them together into one audio file so that you have your bait, if you will. That's what people will listen to, that will attract them to want to either invite you to record a job or to audition a job. And I've shown you that ACX is the absolute fastest way to get work. Now, wouldn't you agree that what we talked about today would be extremely valuable for you to pursue? I've shown you free, fastest, easiest ways to pursue this. Do you feel like if you follow these steps, you could get a result? Are you excited about your future possibilities in the voiceover industry? Listen, now, as I sit here, I've got 2 options. I could take all of this wonderful information, I could keep it in my head and do nothing with it except use it for myself. And that's nice for me. And as a result, I don't get to connect with wonderful, motivated people like the ones I get to work with. And just to give you a few examples, somebody I started working with recently, Mark Driscoll, who is really legendary in radio and in voiceovers, who's out in Los Angeles. And he said, I, for one, have not been this excited about what I do and will be doing since I broke in decades ago. Bill DeWees changed this old dog's total approach. I only wish I had met him 30 years ago. And then Christy Carlo, who's a former MSNBC anchor and also former co-host on Imus in the Morning. And she said, before finding Bill, I spent lots of money getting training in a demo at a New York City studio. I wish I had found Bill first. So what I've tried to do tonight is really give you options that are affordable because you don't have to spend a ton of money to get started in voiceovers. And then Terry Badu, who's a former CNN news anchor, he retired a few years ago, and he's now in my monthly group coaching program. And he says some kind words about the type of training that I offer. And then there's Tom Gout. Here's a trivia question for you. Who is the original voice of CNN before James Earl Jones? It was this guy right here, Tom Gout. He recently retired from CNN. He'd been working as a producer of Robin Mead's Morning Express for years on HLN. But he contacted me because he wanted to make the transition into voiceover. And he said that I have the ability to make one sound better than ever before. And I do this in a very short time. I'm talking minutes here. So, I mentioned option one, and that is I just keep this all for myself because I make a really good living doing this. I love it. I enjoy it. And I make a lot of money doing it. But the other option two, is I make a little bit of money through sharing this and training. And again, it's not my primary source of revenue, not by a long shot. Recording voiceover is. But I could also streamline this for you further. As opposed to painting just a high-level picture of this, what if there was a way that in every step of the process, I could provide resources for you? I could provide solutions for you so you could follow it easily, almost like paint by numbers or point and click. So if you're someone who's serious about taking this to the next level, wouldn't it be nice if I could provide something for you that could shortcut every step, that could help you and give you the strengths to make this immediately happen so you could see revenue in the very near future? Would you like that? Well, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the voiceover blueprint for success. It's the tools, the roadmap, the specific strategies. Tonight in our limited time, I've been able to show you a compass. But in my voiceover blueprint, we really drill down and get into the specific strategies of what is required in building a voiceover business. So what I'm going to do in this program is I'm going to teach you step by step everything you need to know to build a six-figure voiceover business. Would you like to make a six-figure plus income? Would you like to spend more time with your family? Does the idea of working at home, is that appealing to you? And how would you like to work from where you want to work? It's funny, I had some guys here today who were putting some flooring in at my house, and they saw my studio and what I do, and they say, you can work anywhere you want to work. Why do you do it here? And I said, well, my kids and my grandkids are here now, so we all have our reasons for being where we want. But it's great to know that I could pack up at any point, throw a few cables and a mic and a computer in my car, and I'm off. I can do this literally anywhere. So if you want to go from this, being frustrated and feeling like you're just kind of slogging along in the mud, and you want to go to this and really hit the fast lane and make this happen for you now, this program is for you. So there are several modules here. Module 1, you're going to discover how to use free online resources. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have someone contact you tomorrow morning or within the next few days because they heard your recordings and they want to hire you for a job? Let me tell you from experience, it is one of the most amazing feelings that you're ever going to feel. And as you know now, Fiverr.com is one of the best ways to do that. And so within this training program, we have Fiverr.com secrets and the selling strategies of Fiverr top sellers. So you're going to learn the specific strategies of what it takes to be successful on Fiverr. And I shared Gary's testimony earlier, but he goes on to talk about the fact that he has beaten his goal month after month, and he thinks, I'm not going to do it this month, and he does it. And he continues to grow. And Donnie, the growth that he's seen. And then beyond Fiverr, I'm going to get into Craigslist, but I'm going to show you the unusual way that I mine Craigslist to find jobs that pay $200, $300 and more. What you're looking at right now is, I know it's a little fuzzy, but it's a screenshot of my Craigslist training. And what I do is I actually go through this with you, and I do searches, and I show you the types of jobs that pop up, what to look for, what to avoid. Now, like right here, this particular job pays $10 to $20 per finished minute, or $50 to $75 an hour. And the lesson learned on this is they're asking for people with a couple of references and X number of years of work. So here's a little hint for you. Always ignore when people want to know, references, and you don't have the references, or they want years of experience and you don't have that. Remember this: what people really want, they really could care less how many years you've done it. What they want is somebody who can do a good job for them. That's why they ask you those questions. That's what they're really asking. Can you do a good job? So I have always ignored those things and simply sent them my recording, because if they like your recording, then they're going to hire you. But within this program, I take you step by step to teach you all the tricks that there are to mine Craigslist, so that you can squeeze the absolute most out of it. And this is from Matt, who went through the training, says this is crazy. He's speechless. It was much more than he expected. Here's David, who said that the training on Craigslist was especially helpful, and he's been finding jobs. And also, Keith says that the program was paid for through simply one Craigslist job. And then Trevor, he landed his first 2 radio commercials with a New York marketing firm that he found through Craigslist. He said, you may be interested to know that I got the job without an audition, solely from some demos I had produced for him. So thanks again. And then here's Jack, who says that he's been doing the Craigslist thing that I taught him to do, and he's gotten quite a few jobs. Now, something else you're going to learn is that I talked about using the telephone. I have a very simple method that I use. I get clients to say yes on the telephone within 60 seconds. Now, what you're looking at here is a screenshot from the program where I've actually, believe it or not, I recorded myself. I thought, I can tell you what to do. And that's helpful. I mean, I don't think you would agree, I'm sure. If for me to tell you what to do would be helpful, but would it not be more helpful if I showed you what to do, where you could literally sit and watch over my shoulder and listen to what I do? So what I did was I made phone calls to prospective clients. I mean, this is totally cold. I mean, I didn't know these people, and this was not staged at all. And I recorded, and I was actually able to land a job. And so you're going to hear the entire thing and see just exactly how simple it is, but most importantly, the words to say. And you can simply, again, it's color by number. It's point and click. It's just simply follow the directions, and you're going to see success. Rick says again that my cold calling techniques have been his most effective tool in gaining clients. I'm also going to teach you how to make online casting sites. Remember earlier, 75% of all clients right now are looking at online casting to find talent like you and me. I'm going to make that your greatest source of leads. I'm consistently one of the top most listened to talents on voices.com, but again, that's what I teach my students, and I'm going to teach you how to do that so you can be on this list as well. Also, I'm going to teach you my passive online strategy that will put new clients in your inbox every day. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I mean, the goal is you want in your inbox every day people reaching out to you because they're interested in hiring you for a job. As I was working on my presentation, I did a screenshot. This was last night. My inbox from a period of time between 2:30 in the afternoon and 8 o'clock last night. So what's that? 5.5 hours. And I had 3 jobs come in through people. I did not audition for these jobs. Okay, these people found me online and they reached out to me. One job is I made through one client $500, the other client $300, the other client was $600. So again, that's just a quick example. Sometimes this is not representative of what happens every night. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's quite a bit more. But this will give you an idea. Again, I just did this last night while I was working on this. I'm going to teach you to leverage your marketing by learning how to get commercial production companies to do it for you. I learned long ago that one of the best ways to market is to find a parade that already exists and jump in front of it. Tuck that's a freebie for you. Just tuck that away and use that. Find a parade and jump in front of it. There are a number of companies out there, commercial production companies, that are marketing heavily to find new clients. And by jumping on their bandwagon and learning how to get into business with them, and when I say that, simply meaning that that they have access to you and that they can market you to their clients, it becomes a win-win for both of you. Also, I'm going to teach you how to get clients outside of the U.S. and outside of North America. Why? Because there is demand for all sorts of people, all sorts of languages all over the world. And to only work in your own market or your own country or even your own continent would be leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Okay, in the second step, second module, you're going to learn how to create and record pro home audio affordably. So we're going to go through a lot of different, go through some of the choices that you have, the budget-friendly choices for pro home audio, how to search out and find the best space in your home for recording, some creative and affordable acoustic treatment options for your home studio. And also, I'll teach you the technology. I mean, certainly Skype I made reference to, but there are other ways. Not long ago, I did a session where I was connected to a studio in Paris with a sound engineer who was recording, and I was patched into a director in London who was directing the session. And it's just, it's such an exciting time to be doing this because this kind of stuff, people weren't doing this a few years ago from home. It's a brave new world, and the capabilities are far beyond anything I think any of us could have dreamt just a few years ago. So I'm going to teach you how to do that, how to edit and record audio quickly and easily. So part of being a voiceover talent today means you're also your own sound engineer. Don't let that scare you, because this is not about becoming a pro engineer. It's about learning the essential things that you need to do. It's like, you learn how to use Microsoft Word, right? For text. How many of you use Microsoft Word? Okay, it was kind of like that, except you learn to do it with sound. And once you do this, you'll know exactly what I mean. Cutting and pasting and that sort of thing. But I'm going to teach you how to do that very efficiently. I'm going to teach you how to get audiobook work and submit your very first audition tonight. There is no reason now, and that's provided you have your microphone tonight. Obviously, if you need to go get a microphone, that's a different ballgame. But if you had your microphone tonight, there is no reason that you should not be positioned to get work as quickly as tomorrow. If you want to do audiobooks, not everybody does, but if you do, there's no reason why you should not get into that immediately. And again, Mike tells us he's been offered 2 audiobooks already. He said, I went on yesterday, thought he'd give it a shot. I mean, he'd never done this before. And then boom, 2 books immediately. So I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I'm going to teach you how to find your audiobook niche, because we want to make this as profitable for you as we can. So when I say audiobooks, that covers a lot of territory. So I'm going to teach you the specifics of how to pick the right genres and the right niches to make sure that you can be as productive and profitable as possible. And if you're into fiction, I'm going to teach you how to create audiobook characters, how to get character work in video games, digital toys, TV, and more, because it's out there. There's a lot of opportunity. You could literally be creating your very first character tonight. I'm also going to help you navigate the world of narration, which includes things like e-learning. Training is now done, at almost every level of corporate life, in-house, through online streaming training with people like me and you recording the voiceovers, corporate work, documentaries, commercials, promos. We're going to go through all of that, specifically how to perform and the strategies involved. Also, within this, I have my complete DIY demo program. I gave you the thumbnail sketch of it tonight, but I'll give you the complete training program. Also, we're going to move into step 3, which is how to book your first job in the next week and get paid. And you're going to learn how to keep clients coming back, because it's exciting and it's awesome to get a job, and let's say you make $300. But how many would agree that it would even be more awesome to have that client come back to you 20 times this year so that you make $6,000 from that client? Yeah. So that's part of operating smart from a business perspective, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. Also, I'm going to teach you how to set and negotiate great rates, and how to double and triple, even quadruple your rate on a single job. There are little strategies, little things you can say and do that will allow you to get more than you may have ever expected on a job. And so I want to teach you all those strategies. And also, how many of you actually want to get paid once you do the job? Yeah, well, when you're self-employed, you're your own business owner, you're responsible for making sure you get your money. And the good news is it's not hard. I have a system I've developed. And I have to be honest, with the help of my wife. My wife is a bit of a financial whiz and has worked in this kind of area for many, many years. And she actually helped me craft the language and the communication campaign that allows me to collect literally 99.7% of everything that I bill, which I've been told is pretty much unheard of. But the cool thing is I've never threatened anyone. I've never sued anyone. I've never had to get mad. I simply have a way that allows me to communicate consistently and get that money. And so I'm going to teach you that as well. I'm going to help you avoid those ups and downs as we talked about earlier, because you don't want to have feast and famine. You want to make sure you pay. How many of you want to be able to pay your mortgage this month? You want to make your car payments. You want to make sure you've got food in the refrigerator or on the table at mealtime. Well, that's what this program is about, giving you that consistent growing income. Also, I've developed a pruning strategy that I continue to work on and implement that has allowed me to continually work less hours and still make more money. And I'm going to teach you that as well. And then as a self-employed person, you want to be able to take time off occasionally without losing your clients. So I'll teach you strategies there as well. Now, also, part of growing a business is learning where to delegate and where to focus your time to make you as profitable as possible. And there will come a time where it will make sense. You don't have to do this, but you'll be able to make more money when you hire an assistant. So I'm going to show you how to do that, what kind of person you should look for, and what they should be able to know how to do. Right now, my daughter, Mallory, has been my full-time assistant for 7 years now. And it's been one of the smartest things I ever did, because it's freed me up to be able to do the things that bring in more clients and allows me to record more paid work. So the six-figure voiceover blueprint, and this is not an arbitrary number. If you went and bought these programs from me, the actual cost is $2,037. And it would be worth every penny of that and a lot more. I mean, here's an email where Mark's telling me that he wanted to make $1,000 in a day. That was a goal, and he finally hit it. And the good news is, eventually he'll be doing that on a daily basis, and then some. But I want to throw in some extra bonuses. I want to squeeze in as much value and make this as valuable for you as possible, because I want you to have this program, and I want to give you every possible tool that I have in my arsenal to make it easy for you to use this and to grow your career. So the first is a 2-day event that I did recently with Dave Fenoy, who's a big upper echelon, A-level voice actor in Los Angeles, does tons of video game work. We did a 2-day event together, and we recorded everything. Dave taught everything he knew about performance and doing characters and cartoons and video games and that kind of stuff. And I taught my next level inbound marketing techniques. And so you're going to get the videos to that. The people who attended that paid almost $400 to be there. The second bonus is I'm going to give you a free month of DeWees membership. This is my monthly coaching program, and I want to give you a month free so you can experience it, because there's a lot of cool things in this. This is I love this. We have a private Facebook group, and we have a bunch of people there who are dedicated to growing their careers, but also in helping each other grow each other's career. Think of it as a huge support group of people who really care about each other and want to help each other. So it's not just me in there. It's like everybody's helping everybody. So you have that member support, you have that personal interaction with me. We do a webinar, a coaching webinar every other week. I'm sorry, well, actually 2 weeks out of the month. And on these webinars, we do Q&A, we get people to read scripts, we do coaching, and we talk about industry issues. I mean, whatever people want to talk about and whatever coaching that I can offer to help them with, that's what we do during those webinars. They get event and program discounts, there's bonus training that only they get, and they get access to all my archived videos where I stream live. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. That's what it looks like when you access all of the archived videos that I have in the Facebook group, because what I do is I literally have my camera running during the day. You can see my computer screen as well as me as I'm doing my work. But regardless of whether, there you are, you're looking over my shoulder watching what I do, because as I said, it's one thing to tell you, it's another thing to show you. So you get to watch me do auditions. You get to see me do recording sessions where I have clients directing me, which is, another interesting experience. And it's a lot of fun for me, but I think you'll really enjoy what you learn. You'll see me communicate with clients. You'll watch me talk with Mallory, my daughter and assistant, as we strategize on how to deal with clients when it comes to, there's all kinds of things. When we're doing additional lines for a project, if I'm quoting for a job, you'll get to see all of that stuff. You'll watch me edit audio. So another way to learn how to deal with your audio. And everything I do, you'll get to see live. And so a month of DeWees membership is $197. Now, I've got a third bonus I want to throw in. I did a live marketing workshop where I taught my super simple marketing wheel concept so that you will find an endless supply of prospective clients. There is no reason you should ever run out of people to hire you. The reality is there are more people out there than you could ever contact. The question is how? How do you do that? Who, where, and how? What do you say? And those are the things I'm going to teach you. How to make more money using my dollars per day strategy as opposed to dollars per job. Most people in voiceover, especially if they come from a more traditional background, they obsess about what they get on a job. I obsess about what I get a day. And that has allowed me to develop specific strategies that help me to make more money than really I ever imagined possible. Also, my VO guerrilla marketing strategies that work. I'm going to teach you those. And so the value of that seminar, $147. But I also want to throw in something else. I did a workshop. It was a 2-day workshop. I only invited people who were actually working voice talent, because what I wanted to do and what I want to share with you are actual strategies for people who are doing this. Because it's one thing, you've got theory, but when you take it into the battlefield, meaning, when you take it into the office, when it's your day-to-day where the rubber meets the road, you want to know how to make that stuff work in real life. And so that's what this program is about. It's me working with talent about real life situations. When we talk about these marketing strategies, okay, how do I actually do that, in my life and in my business? So through this roundtable discussion and workshop, I teach them, and you get to watch me teach them and them learn this. And also, they learned how to leverage their time to manage the marketing piece with the performance piece, because those are the two major functions that you'll perform as a voice talent. You're a marketer and you're also a performer. And so how do you make all of that work together? And that's what you're going to learn. People who attended that event paid $847 to be there. So as you can see this, this package is a pretty valuable package. A few more things though. I want to throw in my top 100 VO questions. This is a resource. I wanted you to have something that if you have a question, you're in your studio, you're working, or you're stuck, you're not sure, you wanted to get an answer quickly. So it's my version of an FAQ, but it's done in video format and it's done with in-depth answers. And it's categorized and it's organized. So if you have a question regarding your studio, equipment, how to do an audition, a performance, industry, you can look up the question and I'll be right there to give you the answer. So to keep things moving for you and hopefully make your life a little bit easier. And the value of that is $197. Okay. But here's something. I think this is the thing right here. This is huge. And that is everybody who buys the VoiceOver Blueprint is going to be a part of our group coaching program. You'll actually be invited to a weekly 1-hour group coaching session. Everybody who owns the blueprint, this is for them. So within this time together, it's Q&A. Of course, if there's any industry updates, customer training, we do script reading and critiques. Again, it's driven a lot by what you want to need for that week. It's about supporting you and making sure that your questions are answered, that you're clear, that you understand, that you're developing the right skills. So the value of that, I think it's conservative to say the value of that is $50 at least a session. So imagine this, and let's say it's 50 sessions a year, and let's say we just take off 2 weeks for vacation, and 50 a year, that's $2,500 a year of coaching. Let's just say you just did it for just 2 years. You can continue on, but let's just say you did it for 2 years. That's $5,000 worth of coaching right there. This package is already nearly $9,000 in value. But let me ask you this. If all I did was to help you build a profitable business working from home or the road, and I gave you the freedom to live life the way you want to live, would this program be worth it? If I could help you transition out of your current job or make money during retirement and set your own course, would it be worth it? If I could save you years and thousands of dollars on trial and error, would it be worth it? And would you agree that the best way to get where you want to go is to follow someone who's already done it? Well, you can get started with a voiceover blueprint tonight for just $349 and 2 additional monthly payments of the same. Or if you want to take care of it in one payment, it's just $997 for the entire program. And it doesn't matter to me. Whatever works best for you is fine. But if you want to build a voiceover business and career, I want you to have this program. And you can simply go to BillDeWeesLive.com/go. Bill
I put it in the
DeWees.
chat box too, Bill.
Oh, thank you, Fred. And I wanted to address this. You know, I remember when I first got into voiceover, the thing that kept me from doing it sooner was I thought, I don't know that I'm good enough. I just don't know that I can compete with the big boys and big girls. And it made me hesitate. And that was a mistake. And I have worked with hundreds personally, communicated, as I said earlier, with thousands. And there was a gentleman that I worked with a few years ago. This is a true story. I actually produced his demo, and it was the only time that I can remember thinking, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure I should have taken this guy's money. And I wanted him to be successful, but I just thought, I don't know. He ended up becoming one of my most wildly successful students, and it was a very big learning experience for me. What it taught me was I can't judge whether somebody's going to be successful or not, especially based on talent alone, because desire will trump talent every time. I know from experience, it's not the person with the best voice. It's the person who certainly understands how to communicate, but who is willing to learn a basic system and has a strong desire to succeed. And so I just want to assure you that you are good enough. I would love you to join my team and join this group of people that, we get together every week for these training sessions to support each other to success. And I have a personal guarantee. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I want you to know that I don't want you to feel like you're stuck with anything, that if it's not everything I say it is and more, all you have to do is contact me within the next 30 days and let me know that. It's no questions asked. So let's do the math. Let's say $200 a day or $200 per job times 2 jobs a day equals $2,000 a year. That's $100,000 a year. But let's forget the $200. Does it matter to you whether it's two $200 jobs or 4 $50 jobs? I hope my math's right. Or if it was 10 $20 jobs a day, does it matter to you how you make that $2,000 per week, whether it comes in the form of 10 jobs or 50 jobs? No. The point is, this system is going to allow you to get a steady stream of work to begin building toward that. Money replenishes, time does not. Get started right now. Check it out at BillDeWeesLive.com/go. You can do nothing, or your second option is to invest in yourself today. Follow me down the same proven path of success. I've done it already. I have paved the trail. And I would love for you to be the next person that I'm helping to achieve success. And here's Eric David, somebody I started working with this past year. And he's become very successful in voiceover. And he says, now I wonder why I didn't do this earlier. BillDeWeesLive.com/go. And this offer, I'm doing this for you because you took the time to be here tonight, and I appreciate that. But it's only good for 48 hours. So on Saturday evening, this goes away. So if you have questions, you can email me, voiceoverexpert@gmail.com. Fred, did you want to share a phone number?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody has a question, let me just put it in the chat box. Just leave me a message.
I can type it on here if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. 702-423-9945. Couple quick questions before we have to sign off, Bill. One of them has to do with when you're recording your DIY demo. And by the way, folks, again, all of the stuff that Bill does, any of the programs he offers, there's the 30-day money-back guarantee. So if for some reason you're not happy, but I got to be honest, we get very few people who fall in that category, luckily. Somebody was asking about doing the DIY demo. Is it okay to take, and again, these are short questions, short answers here. Is it okay to take a national commercial and record it? Can you use American Airlines or
Yes,
Walmart?
you can. It's called fair use. You're not selling it, you're just using it for demonstration.
So let me clear up that for anybody asked that. That's not a problem. Some people have been doing things like voices.com and Voice123, and haven't been finding a lot of success because, frankly, that's really after you do some of the program, that would be the place to go, right, Bill?
Yes, I'm going to teach you how to do that. It's all part of this blueprint, but that is not the first place you should start because you're not ready yet. And you'll know why when you have the program. I will prepare you for that. But if you're not ready, you're not going to make money. And so that's why I share it with these beginner steps for you.
And Scotty, yes, it is possible to do VO on an iPad or an iPhone using GarageBand. We have people making plenty of money using just the tools that you probably have.
Yes.
The other question somebody asked, and I think it was, who was it, Ray? If you want to contact me, Ray, directly, we can clear up that question. Just text me at 702-423-9945. Be happy to answer it. There's a lot of people on here, so there are a lot of questions, but I think mainly the question is, can you do this part-time, if not full-time to start? The answer is? Absolutely, yes. There you go. And how long do you think, if I work hard at this, it'll take me to earn back my initial investment of $1,000?
I would say on average 3 months. I hope less than that, but yeah, by 3 months, certainly. Got it. Okay. And in addition to that, any other questions here, folks? On the DIY demo, should you include music or sound? Nope. It's called a dry demo, Stephanie. Right. Don't do that. Don't do that. Got it. So any other final thoughts here, Bill, before we go? Well, again, if you want to record voiceover or you just want to have a home-based business, I do not know of a better opportunity. I cannot imagine a lower barrier to entry. It's not expensive to get into. It's a matter of knowing how to do it. And that's something I know very, very well. I've helped a lot of people, would love to help you as well. Okay, folks. So again, you have for the next 48 hours. And again, we'd love to have you join our group. Bill, thanks a lot. Thanks, Fred. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Good night, folks.